Hello and welcome to Will Watches. This is The Exorcist. So I've been hearing things about this film, about how a lot of people say it's the scariest film ever made. So I guess we'll go in and see. I already have some trauma from this film, from being forced to learn tubular bells on piano when I was at school. So I'm already scared. So before we jump into this, be sure to check out the Patreon page. Over there you can find a full-length version of this where you can sync up your own footage and watch along with me. You can also find early access, uncensored reactions, and polls so you can vote for what's next. So yeah, let's just jump right in. Okay, really wasn't expecting this. You know, if I thought there'd be religious vibes, I would have assumed Christian. Oh, okay. Gonna unearth something or other, some ancient cursed object. That seems like it. Or are they searching for something? This whole operation is a search for one specific thing. That would be pretty crazy. Just the scale of it, you know? I don't like this darkness. His hand reaching in, you know? So I'm gonna reach out. And they said the coin that they were looking at there wasn't of the same period. Was it more recent or like even more ancient and cursed? If they are finding cursed objects. This immediately feels much more big budget than I thought it would compared to like other horror films, you know what I mean? You know, horror films usually you can keep it to one location, you can keep it low scale. This one, there's so many people, so many extras, so much happening. It feels big and grandiose, doesn't it? Ooh. Yeah, that's creepy. Is that saying time is up, basically? The way it's shot is so close up with him as well. Is it like a telephoto lens for some of it? It feels very kind of shortened. When something moves across in the foreground, it moves across quick. Maybe face to face with the devil or some sort of evil there. That's very cool. A very long zoom in. Yeah, this is more the vibe I was expecting, not Iraq where it's all sunny and bright. I feel like with horror films, I'm always keeping an eye on mirrors. There's that mirror in the background there. It's like, just double check, you know, there's no reflections of anything or any clues.
That's what we want. That's exactly what we want.
It's always funny seeing filmmaking happen on film. Breaks the fourth wall a bit.
C39 Hotel, take 4.
All right, hustle background and action.
So she's an actress.
You can't accomplish anything by shutting him up.
I wasn't sure who to focus on there. This guy with the briefcase then. Oh, there it is. I have no musical talent. I have no completely tone deaf, so ignore me.
I don't know anyone who lets himself that.
Yeah, so big focus on that one priest. Is he the eponymous exorcist? Well, I was kind of thinking that guy at the start in Iraq, because someone did call him father, didn't they?
Father, could you help an old altar boy?
Okay, lives in the rough part of town maybe? Or is he going here on a job? What does that mean? He wasn't helping that homeless guy? Is it showing that he's actually not that good a person?
Hey, where'd this come from?
Oh,
Found it. Where?
Ouija board. Gonna use it? Already been talking to spirits herself?
What are you doing here?
My bed was shaking. I can't get to sleep.
Oh, what was shaking it? Yeah, more noise from this loft. I don't think it's the rats. Oh, she's actually going up? Of course. Ooh, what was that look from Reagan? Has she seen something? Looks scared. Yeah, nothing's taken the bait. Ooh.
Jesus Christ, Carl, don't do that.
I mean, that wasn't Carl. There's still something supernatural happening there. I've noticed in some of the darker scenes here, the lighting has been really great. There's a lot of focus on lighting up people's faces. Like when, I don't know if his name is Dimmy or if that was just a nickname. When Dimmy was saying bye to his mum, there's a dark scene and she was there, but her face was still lit up. I know a lot of people have complaints with more modern movies that they can be too dark. Ooh. I mean, you just interpret that as being pranked, but was that just a prank or was it something more? Oh. Is that what she saw before? That's not, oh, who was she talking to before? Was it Captain something?
I don't want it.
Yeah, what's with all these sudden tests?
But symptoms could be overreaction to depression. That's out of my field.
Overreaction to depression?
You mentioned
Because of the dad?
father and the separation.
Yeah, probably that then.
And the lies she's been telling, that's part of it, huh?
Lies?
You know, like saying her bed's shaking.
Is she already possessed and the possession is just blending in well most of the time?
Well, I find that hard to believe. What'd she say?
She advised me to keep my fingers away from her. Goddamn cunt.
So well behaved around mum, but not everyone else.
Why you did this to me, Demi? Why?
Blaming him.
I'm going to take Damien Karras.
Karras?
That's his office back in St. Mike's. He's our psychiatric counselor.
Okay, that's the connection.
Bloody damn butchering Nazi pig.
So, which one here is Burke Dennings? Is that him, the director? You know, we had that name drop earlier with Reagan. He doesn't seem like much of a love interest, though, actually.
Hey, I think we've got a guest.
You're gonna die up there.
Ooh. Ooh. Does she mean up in the attic?
I'm sorry she's been sick. She didn't know what she was saying.
Okay.
Come upstairs.
That's specifically aimed at him?
Mother? What's wrong with me?
It's just like the doctor said. It's nerves, and that's all.
Yeah, I am wondering if it's already like the start of a possession or something. Or if does she have like a weaker body / weaker mentality that makes her easier to possess? There it is, yeah. The bed shaking. Okay, so this is the first sign of something actually supernatural. That looked like an earthquake almost, didn't it? Ooh. Okay. Yeah, that was that one coin. And we had a flash of that woman before. Was she the one? Or was it just mum? Yeah. I was thinking we did see a woman on the back of like a carriage when they were in Iraq.
A convulsion.
The shaking of the bed. That's doubtless due to muscular spasms.
Oh,
No.
no, that was...
Yeah, she saw it in person. It's more than just that. Yeah, she's still trying to find a rational explanation when there probably isn't one.
You're gonna feel a little stick here. Don't move.
So much focus on needles. If you've got a phobia of them, this definitely isn't the film for you. Where was he? Is that a needle in her neck? Oh, like a wire going in. Oh, I definitely couldn't watch that as a parent. Oh, it even got on her head, yeah. I have a feeling, are they going to see nothing wrong with her brain? There didn't look like anything weird on there. Not that I would know what to look for anyway. Oh, I think I've seen that clip before. Oh, it referenced. It. Ooh. Oh my god, yeah, that with her throat. What is that?
It's always mine. Fuck me! Fuck me!
It sounds like a man's voice. I don't know if it's just a product of the time, but just like calling her mother is so formal, it feels wrong as well. The weirdest bit was her like neck, throat there, how it was like inflating.
Pathological states can induce abnormal strength, accelerated motor performance.
They're still trying to explain it away as something logical.
But any reasonable psychiatrist would exhaust the somatic possibilities first.
We gotta get Dimmy in here. All of this equipment is so loud and off-putting, isn't it? So scary if you're so young like that. Ooh. Something big happening there.
Sheriff?
Ooh. Quick little flash. Like something about to bite almost. Saw some very sharp looking teeth. It kind of looked like Nosferatu.
Burke's dead.
Oh.
He must have been drunk. He fell down from the top of the steps right outside. By the time he...
Bad news after bad news. Oh. There do seem to be a lot of like time skips, isn't there? I'd have thought we'd see more of that scene.
Why you?
Ooh. Yeah, let's see changing face there. Reagan slowly becoming that form I know her to look like, you know.
Well, you know this director was doing the film here. Burke Dennings.
I've seen him.
Okay, questioning him about Burke.
You read how he died.
Kind of fall.
Let me tell you how. And please, Father.
Okay, yeah, the public information is wrong. It's all a lie.
Found at the bottom of those steps leading to M Street with his head turned completely around.
Ooh, wow.
It's rarely ever seen anymore, except in primitive cultures. We call it somnambuliform.
Oh yeah, she's got the scars now.
You ever heard of exorcism? It has worked. In fact, although not.
Yeah.
They think, of course.
They'll do it as a placebo effect that it helps.
So in that same way, the belief in the power of exorcism can make it disappear.
That makes sense. That's like a logical reason to do the exorcism. A reason an actual doctor would suggest it as well. It's crazy we're so far through the movie and Dimmy hasn't actually met everyone yet. I imagine it will happen soon and he will be the exorcist, the one performing it all. I wonder if there's anything more with his mum or something. Like his mum is the spirit possessing Reagan. I don't think it's exactly that, but... Oh, okay. I thought that was a knife for a second then. She had snuck with it or something. Yeah, like either it's something to do with the mum or like the spirit that is possessing her can use the fact that Jimmy's mum died as just a way to taunt him and get in his head.
This was under Reagan's pillow. Did you put it there?
Of course I didn't.
See, is that helping or is it causing the spirit to lash out?
Watch out for drafts. A draft in the fall when the house is hot is a magic carpet for bacteria.
There's been lots of drafts, haven't there?
That the deceased was killed and then pushed from your daughter's window.
Wow. I'm surprised they haven't gone after who was the guy he kept calling a Nazi. That would be suspect number one, having a fight like that.
It's cute.
Hmm.
Your daughter, she's the artist?
Yeah, he found one at the bottom of the stairs, didn't he?
For my daughter, could you please give an autograph?
Oh.
And what's your name?
I lied. It's for me.
He is a bit of a pathological liar, isn't he? I guess, yeah, we already set up that he's big into his movies. Okay. Sudden panic after he's gone. Is that Kyle? Oh, wow. Oh, it's just the... it's just her, that other voice. Yeah, it's so... Oh. Oh.
Your canting daughter.
Blaming it on the daughter. Or that could be the whole death thing. I'm thinking like... Oh, okay, they're actually finally meeting. I'm thinking like... Is anyone suspect of Burke? Because, you know, he's been in a room for 20 minutes with a 12-year-old girl who's heavily sedated and then suddenly died. Like, is there any implication that anyone thinking that maybe it was purposeful and he's then out of guilt after? I think there'd at least be some suspicion of that. And yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of disgustingly vulgar and sexual on her end, the possession, like her saying fuck me, and then obviously what we just saw there with the cross.
How did they get an exorcism?
Well, the first thing, I'd have to get him into a time machine and get him back to the 16th century.
Not really a thing anymore.
Well, since we learned about mental illness, paranoia, schizophrenia.
Yeah, there's logical reasons for it now, rather than just doing an exorcism.
Secondly, the church, before it approves an exorcism, conducts an investigation to see if it's warranted. That takes...
And of course, there's like the toll on the body. The spirit possessing her could backlash against the exorcism.
Could you see her?
Yes, I could. I could see her as a psychiatrist, but I can't...
It's funny, it is called The Exorcist, but there's not really someone who's a professional exorcist in this.
Hello, Reagan.
Oh, wow. Yeah, yellow eyes, contacts in.
Show me Reagan and I'll loosen one of the straps.
And you're helping old altar boy, Father.
Oh, using that against him. And the mum's in there, yeah, taunting him with that, of course.
If that's true, then you must know my mother's maiden name.
Oh. Oh, that's so gross, yeah. So they don't know the mother's maiden name. But they they knew about that homeless guy that he ignored earlier. I don't know if there's multiple spirits or if that's just that one spirit taunting him.
Look, I'm only against the possibility of doing your daughter more harm than good.
Nothing you could do could make it any worse.
Yeah, at this point, it's true.
I need evidence that the church would accept as signs of possession.
Like what?
Like her speaking in a language she's never known or studied.
Oh, so the maiden's name would have actually been enough proof probably then.
There are no experts. You probably know as much about possession as most priests. Look, your daughter...
Might have to go away and research it.
Did you know my mother died recently?
Yes, I did. I'm very sorry.
No. Is Reagan aware of it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it definitely confirms it with the whole thing with the homeless guy.
It's not important. Good night.
He's ignoring the facts. She does have some awareness.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
You'd like that?
Intensely.
Like the challenge? Or he's just bluffing? Actually being helpful a bit.
Did you do that?
Oh, I thought there was something in there that he needed.
Do it again.
In time.
No, now.
In time.
Oh, got to recharge after? Limit to your power?
Quod nomen mihi est.
La plume de ma tante.
How long are you planning to stay in Reagan?
Okay, that's the evidence that it knows a language that Reagan wouldn't.
It burns! Oh, it burns!
I mean, I know it's not Reagan doing the voice, but the acting, just the physicality of it is great on her actress's end.
I told Reagan that was holy water. I sprinkled it on her and she reacted very violently.
Oh, but it wasn't actually?
It's tap water.
What's the difference?
Holy water's blessed, and that doesn't help support a case for possession.
But did the spirit actually know that and played along anyway? Yeah, that sounds like something that could be played backward.
It's English.
What do you mean English?
That's English in reverse.
Yeah, yeah. Marin. Could that be the name of one of them? Because it sounds like multiple. Hey, something more happening. When he turned and said, huh? It sounded very much like a meme or something. I don't know if people have sampled that, huh? Or if it just sounds very similar. Oh, it's so cold. Wait, what am I seeing? I don't know what to react to here. Is that letters? Oh.
What about The Exorcist? Have you any ideas? How about Lancaster Marin?
Oh, already been name dropped.
I think I read that he was working on a dig near Nineveh. Yeah, you're right, Mike, but he's finished.
Okay, time right back to what we saw at the start in Iraq.
The exorcism supposedly lasted months. I heard it damn near killed him.
So he is actually the Exorcist? Oh yeah, with the hat. That's what's in the poster, isn't it? Crazy how late in the game, late in the film he's coming in. Of course they did set him up earlier with the intro. So it's not completely out of left field. He's so old now, it might take a heavy toll on him. Might even kill him, as they said. Okay. The rainy night, yeah. This is kind of what you see on the poster. Kind of the atmosphere I was expecting for the rest of the film, actually. The film's, like, the atmosphere of the film's actually been quite bright throughout. This is more the atmosphere of the poster, yeah. Well, of course, it is what's on the poster. This is what I was expecting from the film.
Purple stone and some holy water. And your copy of the Roman ritual, the large one.
See, does Damien... He knows his name is Merrin, and he heard it say Merrin on the recording.
The demon is a liar. He will like to confuse us.
Try and get in your head, of course.
So far, I'd say there seem to be three. She's convinced that
There's only one.
He's the expert. Posing as free.
But deliver us from the evil one.
Save me, O God, by thy name. By thy might, defend my cause.
I wonder how they do the condensation effect. Do they just have a very cold room? Or is that an effect they're doing? Because it looked like could be a smoke machine slightly behind her.
Holy Lord, Almighty Father.
Oh, bed's lifting. Now, is there going to be a connection to that coin he found very at the start of the film? That must come back up. We saw a little glimpse of it again at some point, didn't we?
Amen.
Good Lord, hear my prayer.
Gotta carry on.
Apostles, the power to tramp underfoot serpents and scorpions. Grant me
Saw a glimpse of the real face of the spirit there, maybe.
pardon for all my sins and the power to confront this cruel demon.
Oh, yeah. Weird tongue, like a prosthetic tongue. Yeah, that green slime is so gross. It's so unnatural, the bright green.
Father.
Taking a toll on him. I mean, we've already seen him struggle with his health when earlier he was taking those pills and his hand was shaking. That isn't a repercussion of his earlier exorcisms, is it?
It is he who commands you. He who flung you from the heights of heaven to the depths of hell.
Gotta be careful. It doesn't hurt you. The ceiling claps in and kills the priest, you know? That's gonna be no good.
Of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah, head spin. I don't know, you could tell the head was different there.
Amen.
God, defender of the human race.
Oh, you could see a bit of face overlaid on it, yeah.
I command you by the judge of the living and the dead.
Oh, untied. Breaking out, yeah.
The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the spirit will fight back and threaten to destroy the body.
The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
It feels like it's going too well. Something's gonna happen.
God the Father commands you.
Ooh!
God the Son commands you.
Not much of a reaction from Mirren then.
Let's rest before we start again.
Okay, that's only phase 1. What's on his mind? Is he having doubts that it will work? I do have this feeling that maybe something will happen to Mirren and Karas will have to take it over, finish the job.
I think the point is to make us despair.
Yeah, it's all part of the plan. Oh, seeing Mum. He's got it right in his head. I wouldn't get too close.
Dimmy, why you do this to me? I'm afraid.
He shouldn't be in here on his own, really, should he?
Is it over?
Not yet. I feel like they should both probably be there. Ah, yeah. And she's just chilling there, so casual. We didn't even see how it happened. I mean, it doesn't look like, you know, she's not ripped his head off or anything.
Son of a bitch!
And this is right when the police officer's here as well.
Come into me! God damn you!
Oh, take me instead. Oh, it actually did. Oh, wow. Take me. And then he, in a last bit of control, kills himself. That means what happens to the spirit then in that case? And is his head going to be backwards there? So the spirit that possessed him though is still just free then now.
Do you want to make a confession?
Oh, it's still moving, still alive. This is still the spirit though, not actually Dimmy. Finally off to Europe.
Storage.
Or completely moving out.
I found this in her room.
The coin. Yeah, we saw her rip it off of Dimmy. Dimmy was wearing it as a necklace.
Reagan, come on, honey, we have to get going.
Still observing just in case there's traces, signs in Reagan. Okay. Just recognizing it as thanks, maybe. She has a slight memory of Dimmy, perhaps. And that, like, jogged it, seeing the collar. Yeah, Tubular Bells wasn't used in this as much as I thought it would. Okay, so there we have The Exorcist. That was really great, but people saying it's the scariest film they've ever seen? Maybe at the time, but now, definitely not. I would go so far to say that there's almost like a comfort to it. Like there's the scenes outside of Reagan's bedroom. They're so bright, well lit, well made. It might also be kind of the aesthetic back then makes things have this sense of nostalgia. But I would say, like, obviously the stuff that happens in Reagan's room is, horrifying and creepy and disgusting. But the scenes outside are almost comforting in a way. This doesn't have that kind of oppressive atmosphere where there could be a jump scare around any corner. There were like a few quick glimpses of random things outside of Reagan's room, but I would say even those didn't like properly make me jump. I was just like, oh yeah, there's Nosferatu looking guy sneaking in there. I didn't have this like sense of dread that anything could happen at any point. It all felt contained to Reagan's room. So when we were outside of Reagan's room, I actually felt safe. Like some other films, say something like The Blair Witch Project, with that also had this sense of safety whenever it was daytime. When it was nighttime, it was like, oh no, something's happening, something weird's happening, something scary's happening. And then in the daytime, it was okay, things will probably be okay for a bit. And that kind of felt the same here, whereas in Reagan's room, I knew bad things were going to happen. But outside of Reagan's room, yeah, I had almost a sense of safety and comfort. And, as usual, kind of filmmaking language evolves and things age differently. So this being my first time watching it in 2023 is going to be completely different to 50 years ago when it was 1973 it came out. Wow. I hear 73 and I don't think, that's 50 years. But yeah, that's 50 years ago this came out. And I do know there has been a sequel this year, The Exorcist Believer, but I've also seen that the reception to it has been abysmal. It was looking at something like 12% on Rotten Tomatoes, what I'd heard. Yeah, I don't think I'll be checking that out. Even though I wasn't as scared as some other people have, especially maybe at the time, I can definitely praise the filmmaking on display here. As I said at the start, especially, that opening sequence in Iraq, that felt very grandiose. It felt big budget. It felt like blockbustery in a way, much grander than you'd maybe expect from some horror films. And as I said during the reaction, the way the lighting works in this is really great. As I said, modern blockbusters, they do get a bit of flack in the kind of lighting department and being too dark. But you can see here, when there were dark scenes, when it was like Chris holding the candle lit up her face, but then you also had probably windows in the back that if they did film it at night, they would have had giant lights outside being shone in through the windows, so you could have some atmospheric light in the background. And it seemed like there was, like a priority on people's faces to have people's face lit up, so you could see their reactions to things, of course. I will say as well, kind of towards the start of the film, with the filmmaking, I think this is probably deliberate. They almost kept you in the dark, and that did create this little bit of unease. It was like, for example, we see Reagan and we see Chris, and they're interacting and everything seems fine. And then the next scene we see Reagan in, she's in the hospital and having tests done to her, and you're like, oh, what's going on? And then you hear, oh, some weird things have been happening, but we will hear it kind of secondhand, and it kind of takes the audience a second to catch up. And it was kind of the same with Damien and his mum. You know, suddenly Damien was there at the funeral and we never saw how the mum died. And we also had the same with Damien's mum suddenly being in the hospital. We never kind of saw what had happened. It was just kind of shown to us, and we have to fill in the blank and we have to catch up a bit. And it feels like, as an audience, especially kind of at that part of the film, we're kind of playing catch up and we're on the back foot. And I feel like that's probably purposeful to create like a bit of sense of unease, of not knowing information, things like that, keeping us in the dark a bit, you know? And the film does take a lot of time with the setup for everything, you know? The final exorcism is only in the last like 10-15 minutes. You probably have a good hour and a half where nothing too spooky is happening, you know, maybe some of those quick glimpses, those little jump scares that we saw, but that's about it. And you know, it does take its time to build up to the big finale, the actual exorcism. And then some of the effects here were great. You know, we had all of the effects with Regan herself, too many to name, you know, weird like body morphing when she's running down the stairs, leant back like that, and when she's throwing up that kind of green slime stuff. And then at some point, I don't know, she had like a prosthetic tongue or something that was longer than usual. And then you had, yeah, just a lot of great acting on her part in terms of like the body movement and stuff. Obviously she's not doing the voices, but just through her acting herself was really great. Then you had those kind of manlier voices overlaid. That was the spirit or spirits, depending on how many there were. Father Merrin said there was only one, but the spirit in there was like imitating Damien's mum and imitating a few people. I do think this film holds up, but I do also kind of see how it probably is a huge source of inspiration for other horrors going forth, and other horrors build on top of the groundwork that this laid, you know. Sometimes that can be to the detriment of the original film in hindsight, because all of these other films have built upon it and improved what it did so well. But I do think this does still hold up. Then of course with Regan as well, very easy way to build discomfort was in the vulgarity and the sexual comments she's making. Obviously it's the body of a 12-year-old girl, so that's going to make anyone uneasy. A great way for them to like build that discomfort for the audience as well. And then the ending with Damien, just didn't see that coming at all. I don't think there was much foreshadowing or setup. There was maybe a bit of foreshadowing with Burke Dennings, when we learn, you know, her bedroom is by the window and the stairs are right there, so someone can be thrown out and go down those stairs. So they kind of set up that previously, that's like a possibility, but I didn't think we'd see it mirrored and happen again, where he says, leave her, take on my body, and then has just that tiny bit of free will, a bit more strength than maybe Regan has. And it seemed like, yeah, it was him deciding to throw himself out of the window. It wasn't like the spirit doing that. But of course, that does mean maybe the spirit is still around, because the spirit itself wasn't destroyed. It was just in that body. I don't know, if someone dies, does the spirit get released, or is the spirit trapped in that dead body? I imagine it's the spirit is released, you know. So the spirit is still out there, free roaming. And I imagine they draw on that for the sequel for Exorcist Believer as well. And I did like how they went through all of the logical steps, the logical reasonings. You know, they went to the doctor, they said, oh, it could be a mental disorder or something with her brain. You know, they did exhaust all of the options and explain to us, you know, they tackled it logically, and then eventually it was, yeah, maybe an exorcist is the best idea. But even then they were saying, oh, it could be a placebo effect, and use an exorcist as a placebo effect because Reagan herself, she thinks she's been possessed. Now she'll think she's been exorcised. That was quite smart as well. Yeah, I like that, you know, it's the characters acting rationally, trying to find rational explanations for that before completely jumping to something supernatural, even though, you know, Chris did see the bed move on its own and she still was like trying to find rational explanations for a bit. But that's probably her doubting her own mind, doubting what she's seen, maybe. I am actually surprised the dad didn't come up more. You know, we had the setup that the dad had left Chris, or Chris had left the dad was away and wasn't calling. I understand the purpose, explains why he's not here, but I don't know, I feel like that could have come up again, maybe within the exorcism. They do that to try and get into Chris's head. Obviously Chris wasn't there during the exorcism, but they could have maybe brought that up more or tied that up more in the end. Obviously I said, oh, are they going off to Europe? You know, Chris wanted to take Reagan to Europe at one point, and then we find out later on that the dad is in Europe. So was she taking her there to go and visit the dad? I'm not sure. Yeah, that almost felt like maybe a loose thread in there, but it is also maybe showing, you know, it's not a typical family, and we know it's not a typical family because she's this movie star too. And it was used as an explanation on why Reagan could be lashing out very early on, wasn't it, as well? So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like, comment your thoughts down below. And if you really loved it, be sure to subscribe to keep up to date on all the future uploads. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.